On May 11, 2023, in the quiet village of Bourget, Ontario, just 50 kilometers east of downtown Ottawa, a routine wellness check turned into a tragedy that would shake the local community and law enforcement across Canada. Sergeant Eric Mueller and several other officers responded to a call about a noise disturbance at a residence belonging to a man named Shane Belfeul. According to dispatch, Belfeul was believed to be home alone and had been drinking heavily. As the officers approached the property, Sergeant Mueller and fellow officer Lozo discussed the situation and decided to split up to check the perimeter.
Ouais, je veux que tu rentres ici. Y a-tu des enfants ou quelque chose?
Non.
Ils sont tout seuls?
Seul. Fait que la fois que j'ai vu tantôt, puis la lumière était pas allumée. Là, elle est allumée.
OK.
OK? Fait que ça, c'est nouveau. Puis il y en a un, c'est un gars qui boit beaucoup. Stephen Rowe, il est dégueulasse. Puis ça fait 4 ans qu'il reste ici, puis là, il faut qu'ils déménagent, ils vont développer des maisons ici. Ça, ça peut être la peine. Les gars, ils boivent beaucoup.
Tes voisins, c'est lui ici.
Ouais, et lui, il a attendu un demi-heure.
Lozo moved toward the back entrance while Mueller approached the front of the house, both scanning the area with flashlights. Lozo knocked several times at the rear door but received no response.
Ouais, OK, moi, t'as rejoint de l'autre bord. I just cover the front door. Just going to do a perimeter check first. Boy. Change that, so we'll see Dolly va se réveiller, le gars. T'as-tu de quoi?
Le chien, il est comme sur le bord. Vous allez voir à gauche.
Meanwhile, Mueller entered through the front door, clearly announcing their presence as police officers. But what happened next turned catastrophic. Moments after stepping inside, Belfeul, who had reportedly been asleep, suddenly opened fire blindly through the walls of his bedroom using a semi-automatic rifle. Mueller was struck and collapsed immediately. Lozo was also hit but managed to retreat. Mueller's body-worn camera continued recording, even as he lay wounded on the floor. What it captured next was chilling. Belfeul's voice can be heard saying disturbing things to Mueller, claiming he messed with the wrong guy and that he shouldn't have broken into the house. Then, the footage appears to show Belfeul removing Mueller's body cam and possibly covering it.
C'est ça que j'ai dit. Should have never broken my house. Sorry about that.
Shortly after, Loiseau's camera picks up more gunfire along with the sound of pained moaning, likely from the injured officer as he attempted to escape before collapsing in the yard. Belfoy later called 911 himself, claiming he believed intruders had entered his home and that he opened fire in self-defense.
Fire shot. Tried to break it up there, and unfortunately I shot a police. 2390 Love Street. I shot a police, but unfortunately he broke into my house. Yeah, I shot a police, unfortunately, in my house. 2390 Love Street. Where am I? I'm inside the house.
Though Muller was initially still breathing and appeared conscious, he would ultimately succumb to his injuries. Belfoy was arrested and is now facing charges of first-degree murder. His trial is ongoing, with more evidence and testimony expected in the coming months. The incident has raised difficult questions. Why was a loaded weapon so easily accessible? And how could something like this happen even after officers announced themselves? Whatever the outcome, the events of that night serve as a somber reminder of the risks law enforcement officers face, even during what should have been a routine call. And more horrific things can happen during the most routine moments of daily life, just like in the next video. This is the story of Lynn, a young mother, exhausted but content, picking up her 6-year-old daughter, May, after another long school day. They walk home together in the fading light, completely unaware of the nightmare about to unfold. As Lynn climbs the stairs to their apartment, something feels off. The hallway lights flicker unnaturally, casting strange shadows that make her pause. She glances briefly at the CCTV camera in the corner, an uneasy feeling creeping in, but tries to shake it off. She opens the door, letting little May step inside first, not knowing that what awaits them beyond that threshold will shatter everything. In the hours and days that followed, the internet reacted in shock and horror. In the comments, a horrifying truth came to light. The man responsible was Lynn's ex-partner. After forcing his way in, it's revealed that he assaulted Lynn in one of the most violent and traumatic ways imaginable. The most chilling part? May was likely there, witnessing it all. What was meant to be a safe return home became a memory scarred forever. This revelation sparked an immediate police investigation as authorities began the search for the man responsible, hoping to bring justice to a family forever marked by that night. But they will probably never forget that moment, and the same can be said for the colleagues of these two men. On June 22, 2025, in the Kiyaka district of Izmir, Turkey, a 75-year-old radio operator working at a local taxi stand suddenly became ill and collapsed while on duty. His 57-year-old colleague, who had just finished his shift and was preparing to head home, immediately rushed to his side in an attempt to help, while other staff members stood nearby, unsure how to respond. Emergency services were called, and over the phone, dispatchers instructed them to check the older man's pulse. But then, the unthinkable happened.
İstanbul'un kaderi neden Tahran'ın kaderine bağlı ve İstanbul'un kaderi Tahran'ın kaderine bağlıysa Tahran'ı en zor durumda bırakacak süreç son 1-2 yıldır tıkır tıkır işlerken efendim Hizbullah göçertilirken işte Suriye rejimi düşürülürken yerine gelen rejim İsrail'in bütün saldırılarını açıkken hiçbir karşılık verilmezken bütün altyapısını savaş yeteneğini bombalamışken o zaman şimdi mi fark etti Erdoğan İstanbul'un kaderi Tahran'ın kaderine Şam'ın kaderine bağlıdır diye.
Yani aslında Erdoğan tabii bu söylemi ilk kez kullanmıyor. Yani ilk kez sanki bir değerlendirme yaparken bu söylemi ilk kez bugün kullanılmış gibi konuşmayalım. Yani zaten yıllardır hep bu söylemi kullanılıyor. Şam, Kudüs, işte Kahire'nin kaderi, Tahran'ın kaderi beraber Türkiye'nin de kaderiyle eşdeğer bir şekilde değerlendirmeler yapılıyor.
Bir de mesela niye İstanbul diyor? Normalde diğer saydığı kentler ülkelerin başkentleri. Türkiye'nin başkenti Ankara.
Nefes alan yok. Alamıyor nefes alamıyor.
İstanbul'da düzenleniyor diye mi acaba? Bilmiyorum yani.
Yani İstanbul tabii Türkiye'nin en önemli şehri olduğu için.
Evet, en çok canı acıtacak, hedef halinde olabilecek yer olarak belki.
Türkiye deyince
Başkenti.
aslında oradan çok takılmadım. Sonuçta İstanbul Türkiye'nin kalbi. Yani eğer biz Allah muhafaza
başkenti Ankara.
Tabii, söyle.
İran başkenti Tahran, Suriye başkenti Şam.
Bu da güvenlik gerekçeli taşınıyor içeriye aslında biliyorsun. Tam da öyle hedef oldu.
While attempting to follow those life-saving instructions, the second man also collapsed, likely overwhelmed by the stress and intensity of the moment, and it was all captured on security camera footage. Shaken and frightened by how rapidly things had deteriorated, the remaining staff shifted their focus to him. But within minutes, emergency medical teams arrived and confirmed what they had feared. Both men had suffered sudden, consecutive heart attacks. Despite immediate efforts to resuscitate them, neither could be saved. According to co-workers, the entire event unfolded in mere seconds, and both men died almost simultaneously, leaving behind a scene described by witnesses as truly shocking. But what happens in this next video is even more disturbing. I'm talking about the case of Mr. Sanchez. According to police reports, Mr. Sanchez had been deliberately causing accidents and crashing into multiple vehicles across the area, prompting authorities to organize a coordinated response to bring him in.
379, slowed down, speeds of 28. Hit maneuver, hold traffic.
GVI successful.
Using a controlled pursuit maneuver known as the PT technique, short for precision immobilization technique, officers successfully spun Sanchez's vehicle, forcing it to a halt and quickly surrounded him to make the arrest. But what happened next would make this incident far more than a standard police stop.
Out of the vehicle! Out of the vehicle! Out of the vehicle! What's going on? I got dogs out there, guys! What the fuck? Hands behind your back! Hands behind your back! What's going on? My girlfriend fucking shot at me, and I don't know what the fuck's going on.
While being pulled from the car, Sanchez appeared visibly shaken, scared, and confused. At one point, even claiming he didn't know what was happening or why he was being arrested, a moment that may help explain what followed shortly after. After being placed in the back of the patrol vehicle with his hands cuffed behind his back, Sanchez somehow managed to maneuver his arms under his legs, bringing them forward, and then did the unthinkable. lunged through the open partition into the front seat, found the keys still in the ignition, and took off in the police cruiser, now fully in control of a law enforcement vehicle with a loaded service rifle left unsecured on the passenger seat.
I need as many sets of stop sticks set up as you can get.
If you get a hold of State Patrol and find out if this individual is armed, please.
He's not anymore. I'll have my rifle.
The rifle is in the vehicle, passing the 390. Speed's 123. Marked Charger is the one that was stolen. I'm in the gray unmarked. He's driving down the middle of the lane. Get stop sticks out.
What followed was an extremely dangerous high-speed pursuit. Sanchez drove through public roads at speeds exceeding 120 miles per hour, this in broad daylight around 11 a.m., placing innocent civilians at massive risk. Police quickly shifted their strategy, attempting to stop the vehicle using spike strips, known as stop sticks, designed to puncture the tires and disable the car. The only problem? Sanchez proved to be a far better driver than expected.
Coming at you, Jay. First car.
Coming up on stop sticks. He missed him. Continuing eastbound.
One coming up right now, and I'll come up behind him.
Not only did he evade the stop sticks once, he managed to avoid them twice, maintaining dangerously high speeds as officers pursued him down the freeway. Police remained confident they could eventually stop him, tracking his route and preparing another trap. But what they seemed to forget was that puncturing tires at 120 miles an hour can be just as deadly as letting the vehicle run.
You got sticks set.
Good sticks. We got a 1050.
The chase ended violently when Sanchez slammed into a parked semi-truck at over 100 miles per hour. Emergency crews pulled him from the wreck and rushed him to the hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. Incredibly, the semi-truck driver was unharmed, and no civilians were injured during the pursuit, though it came dangerously close. In hindsight, the pursuit went on for much longer than it arguably should have. But the most shocking part may be that it was even able to happen at all. Sometimes danger hides in the smallest moments, as we saw in the previous video. But this next one might be an even better example of that. It was the early morning hours of October 2nd, 2023. A quiet street in Brooklyn, just past 4 a.m. A young couple waited at a bus stop near Malcolm X Boulevard, returning home from a wedding on Long Island. They were tired, still dressed in formal clothes, likely thinking only of rest. But what happened next would shake New York City and the communities Ryan Carson spent his life fighting for, to their core. Viewer discretion is advised. What you're about to see is deeply disturbing.
I'm so sorry. Are you Go watch him. Go watch him. I'm so
Ryan Carson, a 32-year-old social justice activist, was sitting on a bench beside his girlfriend. Surveillance footage shows a man walking past. At first, there's no confrontation. But moments later, the man suddenly lashes out, kicking a parked scooter, then turning back toward the couple. "What are you looking at?" he reportedly asks. Ryan tries to defuse the situation. He speaks calmly. He backs away. But then, without warning, the man lunges, pulling out a knife. In a matter of seconds, Ryan is stabbed multiple times in the chest. He collapses to the sidewalk. The attacker then turns toward Ryan's girlfriend, brandishing the weapon, before fleeing into the night. Ryan was rushed to Kings County Hospital, but it was too late. He was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. Police later identified and arrested the suspect, 18-year-old Brian Dowling. But the damage had already been done, because Ryan Carson wasn't just another New Yorker. He was a fighter, a builder, a voice. For over a decade, he dedicated himself to social and environmental justice, working with the New York Public Interest Research Group and founding No ODNY, an organization committed to ending the overdose crisis. He once walked 150 miles across the state to raise awareness. Those who knew him called him relentless, creative, kind. Senator Chuck Schumer described him as an extraordinary activist. Assemblymember Emily Gallagher had planned to attend his birthday party just days before she found herself at his funeral instead. In his final hours, Ryan was celebrating love. His death is a brutal reminder of how fragile life can be, even for those who dedicate theirs to protecting others. There are plenty of unhinged individuals in this world, and we need to stay alert. Another example of that can be seen in the following video, captured by a woman named Alicia on December 21st, 2023. It all started when she heard strange, loud thuds against her window. Curious and alarmed, she began recording. But what she caught on camera was far more terrifying than she could have imagined. A man is seen banging his head violently against her window. When Alicia pulls the curtain back, he pauses for a moment, staring at her in confusion, before continuing to smash his head into the glass. The horror of the moment intensifies as even a passerby outside captures the disturbing incident on camera. Fearing for her safety, Alicia immediately calls the police, who race to her home. The man, still relentlessly bashing his head against the window, seems unstoppable. But just as things spiral further, the authorities arrive and pull him down. Alicia later told the police she had no idea who he was. It became clear that the man was mentally unstable and likely under the influence of heavy drugs. He was taken into custody and brought to the police station. Thankfully, Alicia never saw him again, but the terrifying memory of that night remains, and it will probably never fade, just like what happened to the children inside their own home on a night in April 2022 in Pasadena, Texas. Emma and her two best friends, Olivia and Liam, are unwinding at her house, laughing, talking, unaware that danger is drawing near. From the shadows just beyond the glow of the porch light, two masked men, armed and determined, have been silently watching, waiting for the right moment to strike. Without warning, the front door crashes open and the men storm inside, shattering the calm of the evening and turning the home into a battleground. Emma's parents, away celebrating their anniversary, have no idea their daughter is now facing every parent's worst nightmare until their phones buzz. The home security system has picked up motion. They quickly open the Ring app and are met with a chilling image: two masked intruders moving through their living room.
Hey, who's in my house? I got you on camera. The cops are on their way. My neighbors are there. They're calling the cops right now.
Frantically, they trigger the two-way audio, their voices sharp and commanding as they warn the intruders they're being recorded and the police are on the way. The men freeze. The tension is unbearable. Then, just as quickly as they came, the intruders bolt from the house and disappear into the night, leaving behind shaken teenagers and a story that will haunt them forever. As we've seen, danger can strike when you least expect it. And that's exactly what happens in the following clip. On June 18, 2025, security cameras captured the exact moment a gas leak led to a sudden fire inside a residential home. Footage shows a red LPG cylinder lying on the kitchen floor, gas visibly escaping from a faulty valve connection. A woman is seen attempting to close the valve, but she's unable to stop the flow, so she quickly leaves the room to find help. A few minutes later, she returns with a man, and they enter the kitchen through separate doors, both attempting to shut off the gas. That's when it happens. The gas ignites. In a matter of seconds, flames and smoke engulf the room. Fortunately, the woman had previously opened all the doors and windows in the home, a decision that likely saved both of their lives, as it allowed a large portion of the leaking gas to dissipate, reducing the explosive force. Initially, it was believed that no one had been injured during the incident. However, that information has since changed. A new angle of the same event surfaced one day after the video was uploaded, revealing that there were in fact people injured in the blast. At this time, the exact nature and severity of their injuries remain unclear, and no additional verified updates have been found regarding their current condition. Whether the person made it or not, in this next case, we're unfortunately dealing with a fatal outcome. It happened on November 2014. A deeply disturbing event unfolded in Cleveland, Ohio. One that would spark nationwide outrage and expose critical flaws in policing, communication, and accountability. A 12-year-old boy named Tamir Rice was playing outside the Kudell Recreation Center with an airsoft replica pistol, one that lacked the federally required orange tip, making it nearly indistinguishable from a real firearm. A concerned citizen called 911 and reported a guy with a pistol, twice mentioning that the weapon was probably fake and that the person holding it was probably a juvenile. But this crucial information was never passed along to the responding officers.
Probably a juvenile, you know. And he keeps pulling it in and out of his pants. I don't know if it's real or not. Well,
Okay, what's in the county?
Officers Timothy Lohman and Frank Garmbach arrived at the scene around 3:30 p.m. In a decision later described as tactically unsound, they drove their cruiser directly up to Tamir, stopping just feet from him, leaving no time or space for proper assessment or de-escalation. Within 2 seconds of stepping out of the vehicle, Officer Lohman fired his weapon, striking Tamir in the abdomen. The injuries were catastrophic. He was rushed to Metro Health Medical Center, but despite the efforts of medical staff, Tamir died the following day. His autopsy documented trauma to major blood vessels, the pelvis, and internal organs. What followed only deepened the tragedy. Neither officer checked for vital signs or attempted first aid. It was a nearby FBI agent, arriving 4 minutes after the shooting, who first tended to Tamir. Emergency medical services took 8 minutes to arrive, despite Officer Garmbach's repeated pleas for assistance.
It's a lot to deal with, you know. America has taken away from me of what my son would look like as a teenager, and a young man and even an old man. I don't know what my son gonna never look like. I only got the vision of him being 12. So that's a lot of pain that I deal with on a daily basis as I see other children growing, other little boys playing and kids playing. It's hard sometimes. It's very hard.
Meanwhile, Tamir's 14-year-old sister, who rushed to the scene, was tackled to the ground and handcuffed. Their mother, Samaria Rice, was reportedly threatened with arrest unless she calmed down, further compounding the trauma for the grieving family. The case eventually went before a grand jury, which declined to indict either officer. The decision sparked widespread protests and renewed debate about race, policing, and the use of deadly force. A Justice Department investigation stretched on for 5 years, ultimately concluding in December 2020 with the announcement that there was insufficient evidence to bring federal charges. Officials cited poor quality surveillance footage and conflicting interpretations of Tamir's movements, although all agreed his hands were near his waist.
As I'm driving through there, following, I keep telling my rookie, I go, he's gonna run, he's gonna run. Be prepared, he's gonna run. As I get closer and closer, the kid stops and turns and faces us. At this time, I can hear patrolman Loman yelling, "Show me your hands, show me your hands, show me your hands." I can see through here the kid reaching, pulling. Take your time. I didn't know it was a kid. I could see him pulling the gun out of his waistband. I don't know if I was in the car or out of the car. I can still see him through the window. I heard 2 shots.
More troubling details emerged. Officer Loman had been previously forced to resign from the Independence Police Department after what was described as an emotional breakdown during firearms training. He failed to disclose this history on his application to the Cleveland Police Department. Officer Garmbach, meanwhile, was later cited for tactical errors, including driving the cruiser over the curb and failing to notify dispatch upon arrival.
First you see him, the male matching description, but then you see the gun, and then now he's, walking away, and now, he's presenting the gun, he's pulling out his waistband, so your levels were getting higher and higher and higher, and the threat just became incredible, where, I had to, make the decision fast because Frank and I were in immediate danger. If the subject did pull out the gun and present it and point it towards us, I would have been shot, and possibly my friend, my partner would have been shot, especially due to the close proximity that we were at. We were easy targets, and plus I was stuck in the doorway and my partner was still seated in the driver's seat, so we were basically sitting ducks.
In 2016, the city of Cleveland reached a $6 million settlement with the Rice family, $5.5 million of which was paid to Tamir's estate, and $250,000 each to his mother and sister. The city did not admit wrongdoing as part of the agreement, but the settlement marked the largest in Cleveland's history at the time. In the aftermath, Cleveland officials pledged reforms. The 911 dispatcher who failed to relay the caller's full message was suspended. The police department announced plans to hire 250 new officers and implement updated training procedures and oversight. But for many, the case of Tamir Rice remains a painful symbol, not just of one child's life lost too soon, but of how systemic missteps, poor judgment, and institutional failings can combine in a single moment with irreversible consequences. And the next video is a perfect example of that. It happened on March 17, 2024. A high-speed police pursuit ended in tragedy on the streets of Cleveland when a teenager, just 17 years old, led officers on a dangerous chase while behind the wheel of a stolen vehicle, pushing speeds well over 100 miles per hour as Euclid police followed close behind. He had no license, no regard for the rules of the road, and no intention of slowing down, driving recklessly through city streets until everything came to a sudden, violent stop. Traveling at over 100 miles per hour, the teenager collided with another vehicle. What had started as a reckless joyride ended in the loss of an innocent life. The teenager was taken into custody at the scene and now faces multiple criminal charges. Authorities later confirmed that the car he was driving had been reported stolen just 2 days earlier during an armed carjacking involving 10 suspects who robbed 2 women outside a bar in Cleveland. The impact of the crash was so severe that it forced the closure of Interstate 90 West, along with several surrounding streets. Police and EMS responded quickly, but for Michelle, it was already too late. 2 teenagers, a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old, were transported to the hospital in serious condition. Officers later met with Michelle's mother to explain what had happened, and it was the kind of conversation no parent should ever have to endure. According to Euclid Police Department policy, officers are only permitted to engage in pursuits if they have reason to believe the occupants of the fleeing vehicle have recently committed a violent felony, and even then, pursuit is strongly discouraged. But that policy raises a difficult question. If you know a car is stolen and it's fleeing at high speed through a city, shouldn't that be enough to justify stopping it before someone gets killed? Michelle Wall lost her life not because of her own actions, but because a reckless teenager refused to stop. It happened on March 22, 2023. Something truly disturbing unfolded during what began as a routine traffic stop, but quickly escalated into a fatal police chase that would stretch across state lines and end in tragedy. It started when officers attempted to pull over a car for speeding and having a broken headlight, minor violations by themselves, but the situation changed instantly when the driver, later identified as 23-year-old Justin McKeela from Milwaukee, refused to stop and hit the gas. Police later confirmed that Justin had an outstanding warrant for violating parole, though the original details of his conviction were never publicly disclosed. What began as a simple traffic stop spiraled into a high-speed pursuit that covered more than 3 miles and reached speeds of up to 100 miles per hour. It was still early in the morning, around 3:14 a.m., when Wisconsin officers initiated the stop near East Layton Avenue. But as Justin fled, the danger only escalated.
This guy's on the phone, he's still rolling. He's not putting it in park, it's just a slow roll. Alright, he's taking off on me. We are in the eastbound Barnard from Sweet Applewood, coming in pursuit. Speeds at 45.
He's 88 miles an hour. Road's dry, no traffic.
Just hope more can get sticks at college.
Red at Packard and Ramsey, speeds 90 miles an hour, still southbound.
Look away if you don't want to be in the photo here.
Go ahead.
Can you do me a favor and send a photo of the driver? You know what's up.
10-4. Thank you so much.
Yeah, before I fall.
Officials say McKeela was killed in the crash.
Officers eventually called off the chase for safety reasons, but the situation was far from over. Just over an hour later, his car was found crashed and overturned down a steep embankment on Oak Creek Parkway, near North Chicago and Rawson Avenues in South Milwaukee. It was a single-vehicle crash, and Justin was found dead at the scene. No other passengers were in the vehicle. According to unconfirmed reports, Justin had been on the phone with his girlfriend during the chase, and she had allegedly begged him to stop, but that part has never been officially verified.
Called me and he's like, "I'm 4 minutes, the police behind me." I'm like, just pull over, I don't want my car to get totaled. Then he's like, the phone finna die. The phone died, I've been trying to call.
So he was on the phone with you when I initially stopped him?
Yes.
Okay, because I could see him on speakerphone.
I'm trying to figure out where's my car located at. You guys were just literally on a chase with my boyfriend, and he called me saying the police is behind him. I'm like, just pull over.
What's his name?
Justin.
Justin? What's his last name?
Makila. He was in a Mazda. It's a
Mazda what?
2000 Portage.
What color?
Like a dark blue.
Do you know your license plate at all?
Yes, I have it in my phone.
So unfortunately, we don't have your boyfriend or the vehicle right now. The best thing he could possibly do is, come and talk to us.
I just want my car.
Okay.
I just brought my car. It's my first car. I don't even care about him right now. I just want my car.
All right. Do you have your boyfriend's, like, does he have an iPhone at all? Are you able to track his phone?
No, I have his phone number, but it's just going straight to voicemail, straight to voicemail, straight to voicemail. I don't know why he get in a pursuit with my car. It's my first car, my first car.
A local resident, Candace Bush, later told the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel that she witnessed the aftermath. Police lights flashing, a body covered by a white sheet lying near the creek. But strangely, she hadn't heard the impact itself. Thankfully, no one else was hurt, but this outcome could have been far worse. It's haunting to consider that all of this began over something so small, a speeding violation and a broken headlight. But for Justin, with a warrant hanging over his head, running seemed like the only option. And that decision cost him his life. High-speed chases may feel cinematic or thrilling, but in the real world, they often end like this, with flashing lights, twisted wreckage, and irreversible consequences. If he had pulled over, none of this would have happened. But what if it isn't your fault, but someone else's? That's exactly what happened on June 26, 2025, in the city of Candido Sales, in the southwest region of Bahia, Brazil, when a truck reportedly lost its brakes while crossing a bridge, causing a serious multi-vehicle crash. The truck struck a red car, forcing it off the side of the bridge, before veering into the opposite lane and spilling a full load of timber across the roadway. In total, 3 cargo trucks and 1 passenger car were involved in the collision. Inside the red car were 5 occupants, 4 adults and 1 child. 1 individual sustained serious injuries, while the others suffered only minor wounds. According to reports, local police confirmed that brake failure was the likely cause of the incident. And more incidents happen than we often realize. Another one is shown in the following video. Driving while using a cell phone is never safe, especially on a busy highway where vehicles are moving at high speeds. And it only takes a moment of distraction for things to go horribly wrong.
That's out of Georgia. Arizona 159, copy 1730.
He's around a car. He is a renter. 14 Cedar. Do you have a number? I'm not getting back with that name of your baby. 10-4. CL number is 05402-7832. Peter, I got a 1050 almost hit me. It's rolled. Yeah, Bridge 111, do you copy 1050 traffic? Peter, hit me. 111, okay, send me ambulance. 10-4, I'm trying to get a hold of 111 now. She just had a PI occur. I almost hit down the mile mark 72 at 15 northbound, see a sit roll. 10-4 out. 10-4.
On October 11, 2015, along Interstate 15 near Cedar City, Utah, a serious crash unfolded that demonstrated just how dangerous distracted driving can be. A Utah Highway Patrol trooper was parked on the shoulder during a routine traffic stop. Everything appeared normal. Cars sped past as usual, and there were no immediate signs of trouble, until suddenly that changed. A 55-year-old woman, whose name was not released to the public, was driving along the same stretch of highway when she became distracted, and according to police, that distraction was caused by her smartphone. At some point, her vehicle drifted off the lane and onto the shoulder, directly toward the trooper's vehicle. At the very last second, she realized what was happening and swerved in an attempt to avoid a collision, but that sudden overcorrection caused her SUV to roll violently into the median. Investigators later confirmed that she had been actively manipulating her phone, not just speaking, but possibly texting or using apps, at the exact time of the crash. She was transported to a nearby hospital in serious condition, but no further details about her injuries or recovery were made public. Based on the severity of the crash, it's likely that her injuries were critical, though her current condition remains unknown. Fortunately, the trooper and the individuals involved in the original traffic stop were not injured. This was far from an isolated incident. According to the Utah Highway Patrol, there have been numerous cases in which distracted drivers veer into parked patrol vehicles, a stark reminder of just how dangerous it can be to take your eyes off the road, even for a few seconds. That's all for today, folks. If you want to see more of this creepy content, click on the video on screen.